Welcome to another daily devotional with your girl, Sallie D. Isaac. Y'all already know what time it is. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you're liking the content that I'm putting out there, because I'm going to give to you what God gave to me. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is another part of Called to Overcome. Now, we spoke about Called to Overcome on yesterday, and now we're back here today talking about it, and it's coming from Romans 8th chapter 37th verse. If you didn't catch the one from yesterday, make sure you check it out, okay? In all things, we are more than conquerors. In all things, we are more than conquerors. Have you heard of the principle of supercompensation? A pastor explains when an athlete is pushed beyond the threshold of pain and exhaustion, the body overcompensates. The more a muscle is broken down, the more it builds up. The more it builds back up. The 206 bones in the body are constantly going through a process called remodeling. They are being broken down by osteoclast and built back up by osteoblast. The process of remodeling is intensified when a bone is broken. Extra osteoblasts help rebuild the bone. There is a period of weakness where the bone is more vulnerable to re-injury. That is why we wear a cast. But eventually the bone ends up stronger than it was to begin with because the body overcompensates. Very rarely does a bone break in the same place twice because the bone is thicker and stronger than it was before the break. Almost like a broken bone that needs to be reset. God breaks us where we need to be broken. He fractures the pride, the lust, and the anger in our lives. But He does it to remodel us into His image. And once we heal, we end up stronger than we were to begin with. Paul writes, "It has been granted to you on behalf of Christ to suffer for Him." Philippians 1:29. The word granted comes from a Greek root, which literally means to grant a favor. We tend to see suffering as a necessary evil at best, but Paul calls it divine favor. So maybe God is remodeling you. Perhaps the problem you thought you would never overcome will become your most effective ministry to others. I laugh because, as I stated in the previous video, God called to overcome. And God called me to overcome grief of losing a child. Like the thing says, so I can overcome. Me overcoming will become my most effective ministry to others. And I know with losing a child, a lot of people, including me, I feel like it was the worst thing ever. Like, I felt like my life had felt like I didn't want to move forward. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to live life without my child? This is the child I went through life with. Like, I had him at 21. So I'm like, how do I now go through life with the person who I was going through life with the majority of a lot of my life with, and now he gone? What am I supposed to do? And I battled with that a lot within the first year, because like I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to like go places. I'm like, how do I live? How do I go on? Um, and he's not here. And like most parents, it's a whole inside of you that a piece of you is missing. And you feel like nothing can fill that void. But I did not realize that that void could be filled until God healed my broken heart like I asked him to. And that was like five 5 months. I think it was 5 months after losing my son. I asked God to heal my broken heart. And once he healed my broken heart, the hole that I felt, is like it closed. I didn't feel empty anymore. I didn't feel like anything was missing in me anymore. I'm not saying that I still don't grieve my son, because I do. Like I actually do my videos in his room. How, like, the Lord. That's another kind of strength. That's another kind of strength. But I ain't come on here to get emotional with y'all again. Like, this 2 days in a row that I done come on here and get emotional. Because I tell you, I don't look, a lot of times I'll read the title, but I don't read the top, like, to see what the paragraph is about. Like, I don't. And, so y'all get real raw emotions in when I do these daily devotions, okay? And when I asked God to heal my broken heart, he did just that. And he did it in a weekend. He did it in a weekend. So if he did it in a weekend for me, I know he can do it for you in a day, in a couple hours, minutes, seconds. All you got to do is ask. Ask and you shall receive. It says, almost like a broken bone that needs to be reset, God breaks us where we need to be broken. He fractures the pride, the lust, and the anger in our lives. And God really was working on me with this before I even lost my son. Like, I was already living a life of fasting and praying before I lost my son. So I was like, he already had me killing my flesh. He already had me praying and repenting for pride, for lust, for anger, like a whole lot of stuff. God had me repenting, and I was getting closer to him before I lost my son. So when I lost my son, I tell people, I was like, God was preparing me for this. I'm like looking back at my life and how everything started falling into place, and looking at my strength and how I'm able to trust God in spite of, because I was feeling like Job. I'm like, Lord, I mean, I lost one child, and Lord, I don't want to lose anymore like Job did. But when Job said, though he slay me, still I trust him. Like, that's my life. Though the Lord took my son, I still trust him wholeheartedly. And that's why I said, like, I felt like Job. I didn't, because, like, when I lost my son, my marriage was rocky. Like, and it ain't even, I don't even know. It had nothing to do with anybody cheating or anything. It was just, I don't know. The devil was really trying to come between us. And like, I don't know, y'all probably heard people say when they got married, it seems like all HE double hockey sticks, went off in their life, right? And that's how I felt. I mean, when I tell y'all, immediately, as soon as my husband and I got married in 2019, I'm like, Lord, I mean, I know they say that the first 5 years of marriage is horrible, or it can be, because everybody's situation ain't the same. But that's what I heard, and I'm like, Lord, I didn't think this was gonna be for real. Lord, I'm tired. We got married September 2019, and then the pandemic happened, and they shut the world down. And right before they shut the world down, we was pregnant with our last child. That March? We was pregnant with our last child. The world shut down with COVID. Then the Lord told me to leave my job. I was 6 months pregnant. I left my job. Was I 6 months or 5 months? 5 or 6 months pregnant. I left my job. And I feel like, looking back, God had me leave my job so that I could spend time with my son, because he knew 2 years later he would be gone. I feel like God told me to leave my job so that I could start leaning and depending on him for everything, because he knew that 2 years later my son was going to be gone. And he needed me to fully trust him so that I could overcome my situation, so that I can come on here and talk to you all about how I made it through, how I'm able to overcome this, in spite of how other people look grieving the loss of the child. My situation is different. My situation ain't different, because other people have lost their child the way I did, but the way I grieve is different. And that's what I do. I fully give everything to God. So God fractured me, took away my pride. I mean, and now he took away, lust and anger and all that. And after losing our child, and we went to before I lost my child, that year, I asked God for 3 things. I asked God for my son to have a complete turnaround. In my eyes, a complete turnaround was him completely changing his life around, him getting saved, and then telling the children, the young boys in our neighborhood about how he changed his life and how, he's living for the Lord. That was what I had want. And I asked him to restore my marriage. And I asked him for a new home. God did 2 out of the 3. I'm still working on the 3rd one because it was some things that when number 3 happens, just know it's all God. I ain't did it. It's all God. When you see me and things that happening to me, no, it's not me. It's all God. Whatever happening in my life, it's not me. It's all God. I want y'all to hear me. Y'all won't hear me brag. Y'all will always hear me give credit to God, because there's no way I can be the way that I am if it wasn't for him. If it wasn't for him. He's the reason why I can come on here and talk to y'all. He gave me this platform. He gave me Grieving Gracefully. He gave me what to write in here so that I can become a published author. And my journal is on Amazon. It's on Amazon. But if you want a signed copy, you can click the link in the description and get a signed copy mailed out to you. $25 plus shipping. And so after we lost our son, God said, we was at a marriage brunch. And I kept telling my husband, I was like, ooh, and y'all know, like, I wasn't even gonna go. I think like the night before or a couple of days before. It was like that week before that Saturday. Because my husband at the time, well, was he on night shift? He might have been on night shift then. Yeah, I think he was on night shift, and then not long after that, he came on day shift. So he was working 8 at night to 8 in the morning. And my cousin called me one day, and she was like, did you want to go to the thing? I was like, girl, yeah, I want to go. How you know that? And she was like, I got 2 tickets. Look at God. And I called my husband. I was like, I want to go to this. You going to feel like going when you get off work? And he said, yeah. So he got off work that morning. I drove. And while we were there, I remember towards the end, like when we were renewing our vows, God told me that he had to take my son in order to restore my marriage. And I broke down crying because I'm like, we couldn't keep him here. Because, I would prefer my son to be here. That's what I would prefer. And in that moment, when I tell y'all my marriage took a complete turnaround, my marriage was restored in that moment. Everything about how we was fighting and bickering and all that is like, all that was going on. When I tell y'all we got married September 2019, all of that went, it was gone. And God restored my marriage. God had me overcome these things so that I can tell y'all that he'll do it for you. It's turning around. It's turning around. Your situation is turning around. I love the song. It's turning around for me. Sooner or later, it'll turn in my favor. Soon, it's turning around for me. It's turning around, y'all. Just look at my situation. Look at what I've been through. And just know God will work it out for you too. I don't know what it is that you're going through. I don't know what situation happened in your life. But God wants you to overcome it because He got a plan for your life, and He needs you to go out and about, and He needs you to tell the people. He needs your story. He needs you to go out there. Our job on earth is for us to go out and tell the gospel. Tell your testimony. And I'm going to continue to tell my testimony and tell my testimony and tell my testimony and tell my testimony. Because there are people out there who needs to hear what it is that I have to say. So I pray that those who have ears hear. Because everybody won't understand. Everybody won't understand how I'm able to smile. Everybody won't understand how I was able to forgive everybody. Everybody. Forgiving the person who gave your child the pum they used to take their life. You know how hard that was? But I didn't. Forgiving my community because they had no programs. No programs to really mentor young men who's battling what my son was battling. And that was growing up to be a man and growing or still being a mama's boy. Because at times he wanted to be my baby and he wanted to be up under me and he wanted me to love on him and he wanted to be in my arms. And then in the flip of a switch, he think he grown. And he's sneaking out my house in the middle of the night to go out and do whatever it is he thought he was big enough and bad enough to do in the street. And the street grabbed hold of that part. But God chose me. God chose me to tell my story and to show people how to grieve gracefully and still lean and trust on Him in spite of everything. No matter what your feelings are, no matter how it hurts, no matter what people say, no matter how you choose to grieve, still trust God. Because there are people who will try to put their grief on you. And you have to learn to set boundaries. There are going to be people who talk about you. Because when it says God fractured the pride, the lust, and the anger, God also had to fracture my mouth. God had to fracture my mouth. Because, and with that part, God did before I even met my husband almost 13 years ago. God worked on my mouth because I was real petty. I wasn't a cursor. I wouldn't curse you out or nothing like that. But I was real petty. I'm real blunt, straightforward, straight shooter. Like I like to get straight to the point. I don't want to like do all of this. I just need to get straight there. And God changed it before I met my husband. Cause I tell my husband and my friends know, I was like, God changed the way I speak before I met you because you wouldn't have been able to handle my mouth. I know you wouldn't have. And when we get in arguments, I pause when I feel like I'm ready, and I'm about to, right there on the edge. And I go around and I'm like, Lord, I need you to help me. Help him. Because, Lord, you know how I could talk. Lord, you better get him. Then I'm like, all right, you ain't even got to get him. Get me. Get me, Lord. Because, sometimes we be thinking that the other person's fault. Lord, get me so I won't act crazy. Get me. Give me the words to say to him where he can understand me. I had to take a step back. And I had to go pray. First, I'd be like, Lord, get him. Because he about to make me say some things. But I don't say it. I always, Lord. And then once I done calm down, and then the Lord will give me the words to come back to him where I'm not biting his head off. And I'm talking to him where he understands where I'm coming from. It's a process. But God called me to overcome. God called me to show you all that you can overcome too. God called us to be different. You don't have to grieve like everybody else grieve. Grieve like you. But make sure while you're grieving, you don't throw God to the side. And while you're grieving, don't hate him. Love him. Lean into it. Lean into him, because I promise you he's going to help you. It says, called to overcome. It's coming from Romans 8th chapter, 37th verse. In all these things, we are more than conquerors. You are a conqueror. You were put here to be a conqueror, to overcome. And don't let the enemy try to sway you that you don't need God and God did this to you and why he did that to you. Don't let him get in your head, because that's what he wants. You are called to overcome this so that you can tell others your story. Don't let the enemy win. I pray that you all were blessed by today's daily devotion. I pray that you all have an amazing day on purpose. And I will see you all back here for another daily devotion. See y'all later. Bye-bye.